Eric Malone never thought his life would change on a routine cargo run to the outskirts of a Hydra system. He was a loner, a former fighter pilot with scars from countless battles, who preferred solitude and silence. But that changed the day he received a faint distress signal coming from a drifting escape pod. Against his better judgment, he altered course, curiosity piqued. As he approached the pod, Eric's heartbeat quickened. The small vessel was battered, barely holding together. He docked his cargo ship alongside it, prying open the hatch, and gasped. Inside was an alien woman with lavender skin and delicate, pointed features, cradling not one, but 3 tiny infants in her arms. She was trembling, weak, and her breaths came in shallow gasps. He helped her onto his ship, guiding her to the small med bay as she whispered, "Help my children." Her voice was soft, musical, and her words, though in an alien language, were translated by his onboard software. The triplets nestled close to her, their silver tufts of hair and wide violet eyes staring curiously at Eric. "I'm Eric," he said softly as he helped her lie down. He offered her water, which she accepted with a grateful nod. "Who are you? What happened?" She closed her eyes, gathering her strength. "My name is Thera. We were ambushed by pirates. They destroyed our ship. My mate was killed. I managed to escape with my children." Her voice cracked, and she clutched the infants closer, her fear and pain palpable. Eric felt a surge of anger at the thought of pirates attacking helpless families and a surge of sympathy for Thera's loss. He took a deep breath, resolving to help them in any way he could. "You're safe here, Thera. I'll make sure of it." For the next several days, Eric cared for Thera and the infants, improvising as he learned the intricacies of her culture's customs and needs. Thera guided him through their feeding rituals and explained the meaning of their small, melodic cries. The triplets, whom she introduced as Zale, Avon, and Lila, began to recognize Eric's face, their tiny hands reaching for him with each passing day. To Eric, this role was entirely new. He was used to war zones, missions, and endless stretches of starfields. Yet caring for Thera and the babies felt strangely right. He caught himself smiling more often, feeling less alone as their laughter and soft alien songs filled his ship. One evening, as he was tucking the infants into the small cradle he had set up in his quarters, Thera touched his arm. "They adore you," she murmured, her violet eyes bright with gratitude. "You've done more for us than anyone else ever would." Eric chuckled, almost bashfully. "I just did what anyone would do." She shook her head, her gaze steady. "No, Eric, not everyone would. You've become someone important to them. And to me." A warmth blossomed in his chest. He'd never imagined being anyone's someone, especially to a family he had stumbled upon by chance. But he was beginning to feel like their protector, and something more. "Thera," he began, unsure of his words. I don't know if I'm the kind of man you want around your kids. I'm just a pilot. I don't know anything about raising, well, anyone." Thera reached for his hand, holding it between hers. "You've already shown them kindness. You've shown them strength. Maybe that's all a family truly needs." The weight of her words settled over him, grounding him in a way he'd never felt before. He looked at the sleeping infants, realizing he'd already started thinking of them as his own. Their wide, innocent eyes that lit up whenever he walked into the room, the way they gurgled happily in his arms. They had become a part of him. From that day on, Eric no longer saw himself as a lone pilot. He was their protector, their caregiver, and in his heart their father. He began teaching the triplets about the stars, their small fingers pointing in wonder at the constellations outside the ship's viewport. Thera often sat beside him, watching with a warm, knowing smile as Eric showed the triplets how to navigate the ship's controls. Years passed, and the Vanguard became more than a cargo ship. It was a home. The triplets grew, learning quickly and adapting to their unique life among the stars. Zale was a curious spirit, always the first to ask questions. Avon was cautious, often studying before acting, while Lila had a knack for piloting, learning quickly from Eric's demonstrations. One evening, as the family gathered on the bridge to watch the brilliant sunrises over the crystalline rings of a distant gas giant, Thera wrapped an arm around Eric's shoulders. You've given us a life, a future, she said, her voice soft. Eric placed a hand over hers, feeling the depth of their connection. You all saved me too, he replied. I didn't know what I was missing until you came along. As the ship drifted through the stars, Eric looked at the triplets, who were now young explorers, filled with wonder and boundless dreams. They were his family, a family built not by blood but by choice, love, and courage among the vast expanse of space. And for the first time in his life, Eric Malone felt truly at home.